They were 12, and now they are only 4. The business end of the Basketball Africa League reaches a whole different level today as we enter the thrilling realm of the semi-finals here in Kigali, Rwanda. The Egyptians, they built pyramids and giant temples in previous times. Well, in this era, you have Zamalek, who boasts a CV which lists 15 league titles, 13 Egypt Cups, and the title of 1992 African champions. On the other side of the floor, you have a team from Angola, the most successful country in the history of African basketball. Petro de Luanda are the 18-time national champions, 2006 African champions, and previous winners of the African double. Then when these two teams engage in warfare, the earth is guaranteed to move. And if you're joining us today, then you will not be left disappointed. I'm joined by a former Longhorn who works with the NBA. He analyzes and brings color to his work, and it's moving art. I'd like to introduce him. His name is Lance Blanks. How are you?
I'm great, and you bring up the earth moving. It has been moving all week, literally and figuratively, so you're poetic on point. Hopefully it doesn't move too much, because it's gotten a little scary for me, pal, as I sit in my room and watch the windows shake and shiver.
Rock on. We also have one of the continent's best journalists who will be adding an extra layer of intel for all of you who have tuned in for this showdown. Asha Komagisha of Uganda. Asha, how are you? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to tell you something. The Zamalek team yesterday had the 13-man FIFA PlayStation tournament with the teams 2 Basketball Without Borders participants, Haitham Sahati in 2003 and Mohab Yasser in 2019, making it to the final. Haitham won that one 4-3 in the 95th minute. Tonight, Zamalek will be hoping that this tie does not go down to the wire, that they finish the business early on.
Drama as Anis Mahmoud goes in for the drive and gets the first points in this semi-final.
Well, Mahmoud is arguably the most nimble big left in this BAL championship series here that we're playing. He can move with the best of them. You've got to stay in front of him or he will make you pay.
Yeah, and he's getting better by the game, isn't he? The rebound attempt to try and consolidate possession worked really well from Johnny Petro, who's been a thorn in every game, every team's side in every game that they've actually played. A brilliant player. He's
an offensive rebounding machine. Has had a game with 17 rebounds already, 10 of which were on the offensive end, Robbie.
Look at Vander. It's remarkable, that stat, in fact, as Vander is picked out there. He was just burrowing a hole in Mahmoud, and I think that he's left a little bit speechless with that decision, but it's the right call. Look at that left hand there. A little bit of hooking going on.
Yeah, that's the next level beyond hooking. A little bit of a grabbing going on. Speaking of grab, there's a steal, and to the basket. There he is, already getting going. Your guy, Goncalves, who loves to score the ball and can shoot it with the best of them.
And look, he's just made a turnover as well, stealing the ball out of the hands of that man Hodge. They get the ball back. Look, he's on a mission now, isn't he? And there's the foul because Goncalves unable to get that man Hodge once again. So they'll get the ball back, of course.
Yeah, I think that was Goncalves got the steal, got the quick hands. Made Hodge pay for the lackadaisical pass there.
It's a good word. It's a good word to start the comms, I tell you that, Lance.
You love words. I know the key to your heart, words. As the big fella Mahmoud misses the little turnaround off the glass.
Dundao to Pedro, of course. You can see that they're working hard, trying to slam it down, but it didn't turn into fruition on that occasion as the big man comes forward. Mustafa Keju, Hodge going up for 2, tries to get it in. The rebound's not good. It's been consolidated by Goncalves, who goes and gets the ball to Dundao, and Dundao is producing something that was art in motion. That was just a lovely way that it just went around and around, teasing everybody until it went down and got the 2.
Also surprising, Zamalek likes to butter its bread with defense, and they had the best man back there, and Dundao froze him and got the easy layup. Mahmoud
just dropping it into the middle for Mustafa Keju, unable to do anything with that, and you can see that Petro will get back possession. One sloppy pass, 2 sloppy passes, in fact, that we've seen from Zamalek in the early exchanges.
Well, that's that layup that we just saw, but yeah, I'm seeing some missed layups as well. Hodge misses a layup, Moraes misses a layup. And then, as you said, some sloppy passing.
Oh, my word, that is sensational. Petro just making a massive statement in the opening exchanges there. A wonderful pass from the little man, Dundao.
Earmark the last two layups on their best rim protector. They're going right at what Zamalek does, which is try to protect the iron, not doing it here early.
Well, that was an attempt there from Mustafa Keju. It's been picked up. Good rebound there from Vander as they go moving forward once again. This time you can see it's Moraes. Moraes getting the ball out, and there's the drive into the paint. Ball comes back out to Vander. Got Dundao to the left-hand side, calming things down as the stop clock goes under 10. Well, there's a charging call on Keju, I think, and he absolutely knows that, Gonsalves. Well, he charged. Well, it's a defensive foul, in fact.
Yeah, that was a defensive foul. There's the pass to Petro, and then they're just attacking the big fella, Mahmoud, right at the rim. But yeah, that was a reach by El Mikawi, who has to move his feet. Clearly the official setting the tone here, Robbie, as we look at Coach Neto, who we spoke to before the game. He believes that it'll come down to defense. The team that plays the best defense is the one that wins this battle.
This is really good, Dundao, and then the rebound. It was perfectly placed by Pedro again, who's racking up points right from the start. Mahmoud in possession. Oh, that's another poor pass to get it out to Hodge. Good defensive work, though, I must admit, from Petro.
You've heard me identify guys. We got so many scouts from America, from the NBA here watching. I think Pedro's a guy who should garner some NBA eyes and attention. He rebounds the ball, particularly on the offensive end, like not many people can do, as the big fella, Mahmoud, pays him back.
Bring it on.
With a nice lob over top, Robbie.
That's a nice presence, isn't it, for a semi-final? But look what Dundao does. Honestly, that's 3 drives that he goes into the paint, and he still manages to find a little bit of space. But let's have a look at the replay there. A perfect present for the big man who saw it coming. The timing impeccable.
Yeah, that's a design play as Muhammad threw the pass to him over the top. Anytime you get him moving, particularly on the screen and a roll down the lane, you got to get help because he can finish over the top.
This is good work as Dundao just drops the ball into the path of that man, Gonsalves. Each player on this Petro team are really standing up, and they've all played an integral role in the first 3.5 minutes. And that is a statement in itself.
Well, we talked about that before the game. They have so many pieces. I mean, they've got their core guys like Moraes. They've got young guys like Dundao for the future. They've got Vander. They can play inside. They can play outside. They got a great coach from Brazil in Neto. So they've got a phenomenal organization. And as you said, kings of Africa over the last several years.
In a big way. Here we go with a nice little attempt for 2 there. There's a nice little spin there from Petro, but it comes to nothing. It's 4 for Zamalek, 8 for Petro, and a chance for Mahmoud and his men to just reel in that 4-point lead.
Yeah, and too good, too close for him to miss that, and too long and athletic. He's got to finish that.
So 3-point attempt there, coming back off the steal. And tidied up. The rebound was good. That's come out wide. It's a good chance for Carlos Moraes. He'll get it back to Dundao, or one of the big men. There's Johnny Pedro coming up. And into the perimeter it goes. Vander with the little spin and attempt to try and get out. And surely that's a traveling call on the big man.
Well, credit El Mikawi on that defense. That was excellent, Robbie. That's not a small guy in Vander. He got stuck under the basket, and his weight forced him to move that pivot and slide it across the floor. Excellent defense by Zamalek.
Yeah, that's it's going to be imperative. There's Hodge trying to get the ball back. Bit of a wild hook behind the back pass there towards Mahmoud. They can normally pass to each other with their eyes closed. On that occasion, I think that, well, on this occasion, I think they've got to be careful because they're not just coming up against anybody. They've done their homework. Here's the young guy. He's only 18 years of age. Youngest player, actually, in this competition, isn't he? Yasser. Hodge to Mahmoud, trying to rise up. Oh, the big man comes in. That's brilliant stuff there from Meklawi. Mustafa Meklawi, or Keju.
Yeah, he came across on the great cut as Vander got stuck going to help. And whenever the help goes to help, you've got to help the helper. Didn't happen there. You do. That's basketball stuff, man. Well, you got to help him as Moraes misses the elbow jump shot from about 15 feet.
and a half, 15 and a half feet. Come on, lads, get it right. Here is Hodge from 16 feet. That's a beautiful three-pointer. And there's your first triple score there coming from that man, Hodge. Brilliant stuff.
Well, you can't forget also Hodge has championship in the DNA. And he's done it at the collegiate level with Florida, so watch him to play big in these big moments.
Blind pass there coming around to the side from Gonsalves, but they managed to get possession back. Watch it, Dundao. He sees the boulevard open up, gets the ball out to the big man who wasn't ready for it, but look at that, Petro doing the damage. And once again, Dundao is coming to the fore, playing some incredibly good basketball out here today.
And how about the trust? He's the smallest man I've seen in all of the BAL, but he is part of the youth future for Petro.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, as El McCauley misses the shot.
Yasser, it's the young Yasser, isn't it?
Yeah, on call. Yasser finishes the missed three ball.
Dundao trying to take on Mahmoud. He'll just squirm behind him and then come back out. Shot clock going down. He goes for a very, very quick drive, and it's Mahmoud who holds his hand up. Of course, no foul given. Vander gets it back. Dundao's out wide, but he goes out to Carlos Moraes down the right-hand side. Drive into the paint. Ball goes very low under a lot of pressure from Mechlaoui, waiting for some support. Three-point attempt here, and it goes in. It's an absolute beauty.
It is, and we got another one of those cities brewing. Mismatch city. Moraes had it there with the big fella, got him on his heels and knocked down the nice jump shot.
Oh, that is sensational stuff, and it's exactly where you want to be. Salim going under the basket and then just rolling up over the top. Fantastic hands, beautiful pass, good work inside of the paint. Three-point attempt there. I think it might be just two, in fact, but a fantastic score there for Moraes.
Yeah, and how about the screen on Muhammad to get himself open? He used that to perfection.
Hodge going on a bit of a wander, but there's been it's a turnover ball. Here's Moraes for two. And once again, you can see that they really are making them pay with those loose balls, with those turnover balls. A little bit of sloppiness with the passing, Lance.
And poetic by Moraes. When he went to the basket, he created space by going body to body and finished as Hodge knocks down another three. And this is turning into...
What is it turning into?
It's turning into, if you can do it, I can do it a little better than you. Kind of like you always do with words you like. You just top them and knock them right out of the way. With better words, they're doing that offensively right now, each team. And Dundao on cue. You're just laughing. I'll call the game from here, buddy. As Dundao gets a nice finish over the top again. And Mahmoud beats everybody the other end of the floor and gets a nice layup. I'm going to take a breath, buddy, as Dundao walks it up and eases the pace a bit.
Oh, to get your breath back, Dundao getting the ball out to Pedro. Oh, there's a block from Mahmoud. Look at Hodge with the acceleration into the paint. There's Keju. Oh, my word. We got another 2 points, and we're back level at 20 points apiece. This is scintillating, sumptuous basketball here in the Basketball Africa League. It is incredible competition. You'd be mad not to be watching. Another chance for two, and it's going in. The little put in there coming from that main man, Johnny Pedro.
Well, that's what Pedro does. Again, if I'm in the NBA, I'm looking at this guy trying to get him across the agua. In case you don't know, Robbie, that's water, because he can rebound like no other.
Muy bien, amigo. Agua. Here he is, Keju, just ducking and diving, trying to get past Vander, and it's been consolidated. Ball comes back out, and a great attempt at three, but it just comes off the metal. And, well, calmed down by Pedro with Dundao just slowing down the pace for about 2 seconds before we hit fifth gear again.
Yeah, he's got the young fella on him, and he shoots the little floater from deep, but it looks like Pedro is on the push, and that's what he does. He tries to get those rebounds, so he's going to get caught with his hand in a cookie jar occasionally. Wow, what a game.
What a game.
Two offensive juggernauts. 22-20, Petro leads over Zamalek.
So we always knew that this battle was going to produce lots of fireworks. Zamalek 20, Petro de Luanda 22, and you can see that it really is going to be an interesting final 45 seconds, of course, as Hodge goes through. The bragging rights very much, it's a fantastic score there. And once again, we're back level at 22-22. Just want to ask Usher very quickly, if it's possible, just to ask her quick thoughts before we end the first quarter.
Well, yeah, just wanted to highlight something about Childe Dundao and his performance so far in this game. Poetic justice for the young man as he started his international basketball experience here in Kigali in 2016, playing at the FIBA Under-18 African Championship, where he inspired Angola to the title before playing at the World Cup Under-19 in 2017. So beautiful to see him feeling at home here in Kigali and trying to help Petro de Luanda make it to the final.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic and good points. You know, we can put a lot of focus on Dundao. We talked about, you know, what his role was within this group, of course, being the youngster amongst a lot of older, more experienced players. Well, he doesn't need to worry about his age. He is most definitely in it. He's in his prime and he's loving his role in this team.
Yeah, and I talked to the GM Mbunga about him, and he's part of the youth movement, as in Dundao is, and he says he's very tough as a player, and he plays bigger than his size, and that's perfect description in my estimation of him as a player. You can't look at the size, you have to look at the impact, and it's huge for every moment he's on the floor.
He nearly intercepted the ball there as Mahmoud's got the ball in his hands. Only a few more seconds to go. Hodge gets the ball out, and that is fantastic play. That's exactly what they needed, Zamalek, and they get those points there through that man, Fakwadi. And we have the end of the first quarter. We are all square. We knew it was going to be a high-octane battle between these two giants of African basketball, but to see the drama unfold like this is just sensational. And you can see that Zamalek 24, Petro de Luanda. We'll take a break and we'll be back in a few moments' time. I think it's going to, well, hit fever pitch. The temperature's rising here in Kigali. Right, we're back in. Zamalek 24, Petro de Luanda 24. It's the start of the second quarter. Fireworks have been spotted in Kigali here today in this wonderful arena, and we're going to check out Usher. Usher, what have you got for us? Because it's very tight so far, isn't it?
Yes, it is very tight, but very impressed with Anas Mahmoud's performance so far. He'll be expecting a child this summer, and he told me earlier that that could be an inspiration for him and his family back home, and he's doing this one for them. Let's see if they can make it to the final.
So Anas Mahmoud did actually play for the Memphis Grizzlies in the Summer League, but he just come fresh out of college, and I think that as we see Ryan Richards missing the three-pointer there, but he didn't get much game time. So if he does go back to the Summer League and he gets picked for one of the teams, one of the franchise, I think it's going to be a whole different game of basketball for him and his future.
Well, yeah, and he went to the University of Louisville, spent time there for 4 years, led the ACC conference, also in blocks. So it's not unfamiliar to him to block shots and have an impact on basketball, but he does have some Western influence in his game. In fact, he's the guy that they like behind the defense, Robbie, to block shots and keep things stable from a defensive perspective. And Coach Julby, we talked to him about it, and they hang their hat on defense. Speaking of which, is Paolo does his version of rim protection as Coach Neto looks on, looking for a potential foul.
Well, all square, and Hodge.
Still resetting the shot clock.
They're just resetting the shot clock just to make sure that it's spot on.
They'll have to get a quick shot up here. Robbie, only 4.7 seconds left, and they got to know that.
There's a chance there coming in from the cold. Look at that. That is sensational stuff. We know how dangerous he is, Solo Diabate, the Ivorian, and he's actually he's bathing in success at the moment. He's just been picked for the Côte d'Ivoire team for Afro-Basket, which takes place, of course, late August, as we see Paolo going up for two at the other end.
Well, and you've got to be aware of the shot clock and who's on the floor defensively. That wasn't the case on that last possession. As Paolo gets himself, that you got to close out on him. Petro, he knows, or he's got to know, there's a late clock situation. I got a guy who can knock this shot down, and he gives the space which hurt his team with the 3 ball.
Yeah, you got to get in the way. And there's a fine effort there, a little bit of a wait before it dropped. 27-all. Again, we're sticking very tight to each other. Both coaches talking about how important, how integral defenses are in this clash, of course, and we'll see a lot of tight marking there as well. That's just a fantastic drop in there. A triple scored by Fakwade, who is originally from Illinois in the United States.
And then back with the push in the hip. Hussein all over Domingos. Both of these teams like to hang their hat on defense, and I was interested, Robbie, coming into this game to see how well Zamalek would do it. That they averaged about they gave up about 60 points before we got to the playoffs, and contrarily, Petro averages about 80. I don't know if that's going to be possible for Zamalek to keep them down below 60 as Scott misses the long 3 ball. Yeah, there's Antoine Scott who's come on, as you mentioned. Lots of changes, of course. Richards played a very, very good game in their last battle that they took place in the quarterfinals to get them through here, showing a lot of fighting spirit in his defensive game, but also offensively putting up a big fight as Hodge goes down and hits the deck under a little bit of pressure there from Domingos. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, does Hodge stay long, because since the guards have changed here for Petro, how do they defend the backcourt of Zamalek, especially with Hodge on the floor?
Diabate, mid-range, it's a beauty as well, just fired in, 32-27. That's a good 5-point lead as Petro just matched them every single time. And they talked about being quick. Coach Neto, he actually said, we got to be really, really quick to get up, you know, and play that fast ball, because we know that the tactics are going to be tight out there. Fakwade for 3. The 3 points are in, and it is swinging from one side to the other. It's like a very large pendulum.
Yeah, and speaking of swinging, both teams are good at having guys drive and find people. That was the case right there. So you're going to have to make decisions about your rotations, because they can find open people on the perimeter.
And a foiled attempt by Paolo to try and drop 2 in. Hodge down that left flank, waiting for a little bit of space to open up, or an option. Comes back out, and you can see that they're working their magic. And the bench with a lovely little tip in there. That was important coming in from Junior. 35-29 timeout picked by Petro de Luanda, which makes complete and utter sense.
Yeah, there's an example of coming back quickly, to your point, and Scott gets it going. Both of these teams are extremely aggressive as Hussein misses the layup, and Alanu tips it back in. You've got to be on your P's and Q's, always in an alert position for either team, defense or offense. As you see, you hit once, they're counter-punching type teams, Robbie, and there your eyes goes, 3s, 4 trees. Man, look what you got here, buddy.
So we've got 4,668 trees that have been planted, because this is the BAL. It's a green community policy. There's every 3-pointer that has been scored in this competition, 3 trees have been planted. So you can imagine 4,668 trees. That is a lot of forest. That's a lot of greenery, and that's very important for this beautiful world that we live in.
Yeah, it's a lot of math as well that you got to figure out. So the more 3s, the better, though, for the continent of Africa, because the NBA has done a great job, and BAL, in partnering with New Fortress Energy to get these trees in the ground.
Yeah, and one thing that's really important, of course, we are very close to the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Congo, of course, the lungs of Africa, that's what they call it, and that's the tropical rainforest around the equator, which makes up such a large area. Let's keep it protected. Let's protect the species, the animals, and of course all of the flora and fauna, and more trees basically means that is where we're going.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out and thoughts and prayers to those suffering suffering as Richards makes the layup with the high-low pass at the rim. But I want to have them in my thoughts and prayers and give a shout-out for the challenges in Congo. We've been feeling the earth move with the tremors, and I know they're closer to ground zero, if you will, with the lava coming out of that volcano.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, the people of Goma moving across to Gisenyi over the border from into Rwanda, of course. Good call, good point, Lance. At the end of the day, you know, you have to spare a thought for the people in those situations.
Well, yeah, and that's what the BAL and the NBA is about. It's about community and people. As you see Paolo with the push in the back, and yeah, we'd be remiss not to mention those who may be suffering so closely to us. Just keep them in your thoughts and prayers, Robbie.
Most definitely. And the great thing is about the Basketball Africa League, it does touch on many different topics like that. You know, looking at equality, children, yep. You know, yep. Livelihoods, improving lives for yep. everybody in every way. I can promise you that. So it's get involved. Have a look. Check out the website because it's yep. absolutely incredible. There's loads of videos that are up there and lots of statements and everybody getting involved. And it's all for a good cause. So yep. you'd be mad not to. Yep. TheBAL.com. It's as yep. simple as that.
Yeah, you give me goosebumps talking about that because I'm a Dugalo Fall. I've had several dinners and or meetings with him here and just been around him. And it's amazing. I'll dive into the basketball, and I mean, you don't get 2 or 3 sentences, and he goes, the community, though. The community, yeah. the culture, the people. And so it is. It's bigger than just basketball. Basketball matters. We're seeing some great basketball here as Domingos comes up court. Paolo doesn't get set. Paolo is called for the block on the charge. So back to a little basketball here, Robbie.
Yeah, and this is big, isn't it, for the 35-year-old Lionel Paolo. That's his 3rd foul. You can just see that he just stretches out and just makes that that block on Hesham while he was moving, which basically meant that you know, he's going to pick up the foul. And 3 fouls with 6:22 left in the first half is really not a great place to be.
No, it's not, but you got so many weapons for either one of these teams.
Oh, Domingos hitting the deck there as the offensive foul, so they'll get the ball. Zamalek will get the ball.
Well, it's some of the same action as Paolo. Alanu wasn't set, and you'll see it right there where he tried to step up. Almost identical plays on either end of the right. court, but that's as much on the guard as it is the big. He's got to allow his big to just get set, place his feet before he goes on that screen.
You've got to think about setting the cement. That's exactly what you've got to do. And if you don't, then obviously you're still moving, you get picked up for it.
Great analogy, buddy. You are rocking and rolling.
Is the chance for 2 points. That was fantastic stuff. Now, Fakwade really does like to boost and get the acceleration going. He gets the boosters moving. But look at that pass there from Diabate underneath the ring. There he is. Quick layup, and the defense are not back quick enough.
That pass is easy. As you see the pass of Diabate, there's no one around him within 10, 12 feet. If you allow a guy to sit back there and make that pass, he'll make it all day long. It's almost like an NFL style of football when a quarterback has a lot of time to pass the ball without pressure. You've got to pressure the passer, especially when you have the type and the level of bigs that you have on either one of these teams, Robbie.
They've got a whole bunch of guys, big burly guys, protecting the quarterback at the same time, don't they? That's a wonderful skyhook, dropped in sumptuously to add 2 to the tally, and it is from that man, Olimpio Cipriano, a young guy at the age of 39, still playing like he's 18. It's absolutely amazing, and that's what African basketball is all about. You've got all kinds of different ages and backgrounds that makes up this wonderful competition. As we go and see Diabate going on a bit of a wander there, the ball comes back into his hands, back out for Hesham. Hesham goes for the layup. That's brilliant play. The bench looks across, and it's like sort of high fives because determination was imperative there.
Yeah, that's a long way to be able to drive unimpeded. That defense has got to shore up a little better than that.
Now, look at the scorelines, 42-33. This is not a good quarter, is it, for Petro Luanda? All square coming into the second 10, as we can see what Diabate was doing, getting the ball out to Hesham, and Well, there he is, straight through traffic, the up and under, beautiful score.
Yeah.
But they need to come back, they need to fight a little bit harder because they're not picking up the points when they get play, and then they're not defending when they do because they drop their heads marginally.
Well, they had these guards come on the court, Antoine Scott, obviously, and I thought that was the change. They've got to get some of their mainstays back on the floor, I think, if they want to get back in a rhythm.
Well, the attempted tip in comes to nothing. Johnny Petro needs to step up as well. They've got pure talent on this in this Petro side, of course, but they've also got players who can come off the bench. But can they play as well as Zamalek's bench? That's the question you've got to ask yourselves.
Well, and it's win or go home. And as you're talking about it, benches do matter, obviously, and both benches are deep. But you don't have, there's another game, well, there would be another game if you win, but there's not another opportunity to get to a championship. So you've got to get it done here, because you're not going to get another chance at winning the first BAL title.
Zamalek 42, Petro to Luanda 33. It's a 9-point difference. 4:40 left in the second quarter. We'll take a break.
Welcome back to Kigali, Rwanda, where we are in the final 4 teams of the BAL championship as Zamalek leads 42-33 over Petro here midway through the second quarter with less than 3 seconds on the shot clock. And there he is again. Robbie Diamante is in fuego, buddy, from beyond the arc.
In fuego indeed, and that's fantastic. Do you see the gesture he made afterwards? It was the bowman, which is, of course, the logo of Zamalek. So it goes back to, obviously, the ancient dynasties. It's just remarkable. Nice little gesture there from the Ivorian, and also a fine score from out wide. Downtown, outside of town.
And then the finish, I don't understand why that was a offensive goaltending, but in FIBA rules, you can knock that off. Maybe he thought he'd not hit the rim.
Right. I think so. No, I think that is obviously the call.
Yeah, you with me or you're not with me? You're looking at me like you don't know who to be with. I'm your guy.
I've never not been with you. Thanks.
I love it.
So come on, let's go. We've got a 10-point lead.
Okay.
With you all the way, bro.
Okay, all right. I like it. Diamante goes out of bounds.
Never under doubt. Yeah, he's out of bounds. He's actually gone back onto the bench. You can see that, and it'll give Junior the chance to try and hit a couple of points. And Asha, have you got some intel for us?
Yes, obviously not surprised with Suleiman Diabate's performance today, because heading into this game, he said he was very tired of losing to Angolan teams. It's been so many years, and playing for the Côte d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast national team, he's tired, and that's what is inspiring him today.
Well, the Côte d'Ivoire, of course, just qualifying for the AfroBasket, but yeah, he would love to get that win. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Tired of losing against a country constantly, and the one day that you get that win is a game changer, isn't it? It'll just inject so much confidence, into your belief that you can actually do it again and again and again. So we wish them all of the best, but it's going to go to the wire, I think, this one.
Yeah, and they're wearing the right colors. I mean, because they're wearing that kind of Laker gold, if you will. And a lot of people have lost to the Lakers in the U.S. over the years, and they got sick of doing that as well. So you got a lot of championships. This team from Angola, and Angola sees itself, and you talked about it, as the kings of basketball on the continent.
There's no doubt about it. Well, there's a miss there coming from Cipriano. Cipriano, great long-distance shooter, of course, and I think he was part of the Angolan team that beat Tunisia in 2007 in AfroBasket to win the title, of course. He was the rookie then, you can imagine. So it's a long time ago, but he's still playing top-level basketball as Hodge gets the ball downtown to picked up by Salem. Here he is, Hodge, and we've got a change. Of course, you can see McLaughley's come on, whose nickname is Kidju. Here he is.
And they're in the zone right now, and that misses. They baited Muhammad into the open three that was missed.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because you've got Ryan Richards on and you've got Johnny Petro, these two big guys, you know, just protecting the fortress, protecting the paint at the back, go for some long-distance shots from outside the arc, of course, for Zamalek. Might be the key to their success unless they can get the ball up quick like that. Hodge darting up court and trying to get some points.
Yeah, and I thought Richards was involved in that because he fell and he looked at the ref and literally stopped playing basketball, which helped create the defensive imbalance. And those are the little things that you've got to play through, especially when you're down by 9 points. You don't want to give your opponent any advantage. You got to play on, play through, and play on, Robbie.
And that's what Hodge is doing just from the free throw line, of course. Born in Puerto Rico, played basketball for the Virgin Islands, of course, at American nationality. And, well, he's been around the block, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been a lot of places, a journeyman, but also a true champion. I talked to him a few days ago, and he was so excited about Joakim Noah coming here all the way over to Africa, to Rwanda, to watch his teammate play. And that's part of his inspiration, I think, this week.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. You could see it when we interviewed him the other day. You know, he was just up in the stands waving to his buddy, who was in a different section, of course, because they can't come down where we are because of health and security and COVID restrictions, of course. But everybody who comes into this arena has to have passed a negative PCR test, just that all of our viewers can actually understand what it's like to be inside of the bubble, as we see that Zamalek putting a little bit of pressure on the Petro defense. You can see that as the big man trying to get the better of Carlos Moraes.
Yeah, he gets the better of him because he's a lot bigger than Moraes, and there was a double team coming from Scott, but Moraes got tied up. So it's a great strategy by Zamalek to look to get the ball in the big and also look for mismatches. It's a big part of the game, Robbie, in the chess match, as Milano misses his first free throw.
Yeah, we were drafted for the Lakers in 2009. Another guy who, well, he's familiar with that color, you know, who playing on the other side of the court.
Yeah, he gets blood in the eyes when he sees that, sees that goal.
Here we go, pushing up court, and you can see that Petro need to play catch up a little bit now. It's 11 points with 2:22 left before they head into the locker room. Vital moments cause for vital and important reactions. They need to dig deep here, and you can see that Coach Neto knows that points at this time, just to give them the psychological advantage of, you know, being able to get those last points before the halftime buzzer, are essential. And that three-pointer doesn't manage to make it. It's been picked up, of course, by Yasser. Back out to Hodge.
Yeah, if I'm Zamalek right now, what they're doing is just controlling pace. A good job by Hodge. Moraes, a little impatient there. It really wasn't a play to be made. And you can just literally kind of walk the clock down, kind of pass the ball, use the clock to extend this lead. And if you're Petro, you want this thing to go a little faster because you need what you know you need, what you've said all playoffs long. You need the big Mo. There you go, man. You
I know it.
Man, we've been hanging too long. We're synchronized now.
We are synchronized.
Right, and for those of you who don't know who Mo is not a person. Mo is a thing.
It's a thing.
Mo is a thing, and it has a last name to it too. Its first name is Mo, and my running mate over here, my partner, knows what the last name is.
Mentum.
Mentum, man. That's right. So if you're Petro, you probably don't make up an 11-point lead in 2:09 against Zamalek, but you do maybe get some momentum if you play smart. I think Usher has something to say about this. At least that's what I'm being told. Usher, what do you have?
Well, Lance, it's very interesting to see that Zamalek have taken control of this game. They're looking good, the energy is good, and it's something that they needed to get in that second quarter, getting that confidence and you know, being comfortable, but they shouldn't be comfortable for a very long time.
Well, there you have it. We've seen changes, you know, during the Zamalek when they've made changes off the bench. Sometimes they've fallen underneath the underneath the hammer, underneath the kosh against opponents who've managed to creep back into the game. They've got to be a little bit careful when they do make those changes, because it kind of destabilizes them momentarily. And I think Petro are a team that can actually get in and rattle and rile them in those special occasions. But maybe they've worked on that and they're going to be foolproof on this occasion. It is a semi-final.
Yeah, and your point's well made, and particularly on the offensive end, but I think because their bread is buttered on the defensive end of the floor, that allows them to have a little bit of stability, and we've seen that here late with Petro going cold, unable to generate a whole lot of offense as Hodge knocks down yet another free throw and extends the lead, Robbie, to 13 here late in the second quarter.
They need a lot of Mo, Lance, but they also I can't just call it Mo, can I? We need to say the full word, otherwise it just doesn't make sense.
Well, we got to take care of those who are just tuning into their phone.
Richards for 3, and an important score there for Ryan Richards, just to make it a 10-point game. A couple more of those, and I think Petro will be quite happy going into the locker room.
Well, that's the Mo you were talking about. You even have it now, a little Mo Joe instead of momentum, but Richards there stopped the bleeding for Zamalek. These are key possessions here going down the stretch with 90 seconds to go.
Oh, what about that from Hodge? He is highly motivated, and I can tell you he is coming on strong as well. Hodge playing his A game. We knew that he would. I don't believe, Richards just falling off his feet. They need to be careful because Keju's back up court and waiting for that high pass in the paint. Here he is.
They got a little isolation there and a carry, and since we're throwing all the Mo's in, they need a little Mo Reyes right now from Petro to show some leadership, and the nice 3-ball.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. You really don't want to have your players moot their opportunities. You know, you've got to seize them like that. That was an opportunity that's just not happened there, coming from that man Dundao as Zamalek pushed forward, and Hodge very quick to dart up court. A lovely little touch there coming in from the big man Junior Elonu doing the damage.
And I can't skip over that last defensive possession. Elonu, that was amazing, Robbie. God, did you see that defense? And that's what they like to do, clean things up around the basket.
Oh, the attempted rebound there from Pedro as the bomb came in from outside from that player Gonsalves. But look at this, the replay. Look at what.
Wow.
Look at that from Junior Elonu. Just swatting it away, you know, like a horrible mosquito, if I'm allowed to say that. It just, you know, get away, get out of there.
Yeah, that was just a beautiful, actually a nice drive by Dundao, but even better defense by Elonu.
Mismatch, of course, you know, in size, but it doesn't mean that the smaller players can actually produce magic like that. That is nearly a fantastic piece of play, but the drive and the way that he got away from his defenders, sensational. He's a wily character, isn't he?
Yeah, with only 6 seconds, there's a foul by El Mekawi. Fouled in the open court. That'll be an easy 2 layups. I'm not real excited about that play. Very
yeah, you saw the check. Did you see that? He just tapped him on the side. Of course, Richards just coming up behind Meklawi. Yeah. It's just a silly instant, isn't it? You know?
I mean, do you want to really put him on the line at this point? It's actually turning out to be a positive as he misses his first free throw. Only 5.9 seconds to go here. He shoots the second in the half.
And it's another miss. Johnny Petro trying to scramble for the ball. Oh, he just jumped up on top of Meklawi, who's... oh, wait there a sec. Wait there a sec. He's gone down in a big way. Meklawi's there. Yeah, I don't understand.
That's nasty. I think he hit the elbow.
I think so. It's a very because it wasn't immediate, but afterwards he got the pain, and I think it was the
Pedro. I see Pedro. I saw him holding the left elbow.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, do you know what they call it? They call it the tennis elbow, don't they? Let's just have a look when he crashes down.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
A better angle here. Oh, he gets. Oh, it's Johnny Pedro just hitting him on the side of the face as he came back down.
Yeah, just at the top of where the face and head meet.
Right,
the top of the head, I should say.
Okay, it's basketball's a physical game. We just hope that he's going to be okay. I don't think he really did it on purpose, because you've got those flailing arms a little bit, don't you? And Johnny Pedro is he's a good basketball player. I think that it was just accidental. It came back down because you're trying to protect your zone, of course. But we hope that he's okay.
Yeah, it's just not a pretty sight. And anytime you have something to the head, obviously, not only just a scar, but head trauma is just not something that you want to have or see with these players. So I truly hope he recovers quickly. Yeah, let's have a look. So I think he's good. There's a little cut up there, but he's obviously a little bit stunned, and I think that that's what it comes down to. But obviously, priority is that everybody, is safety and health is obviously top priority. We know about that, so we can see that he's coming back out. Oh, I think we're in the presence of basketball royalty today, and it's going to be the same case all over the weekend, Lance. Oh, yes, we are. That's Mark Tatum. Part of the leadership of the NBA. He came all the way over here, deputy commissioner, he is just raving about this league and very excited about what that man there did, Amadou Gallo-Fall, and what he's put together. And Amadou, who started this many years ago and had a dream and got a lot of his NBA friends, Amadou Gallo-Fall did, to come down to South Africa and help him with Basketball Without Borders, which some of these players even today were part of, which was a camp, players all over the continent. And then you just fast forward to the NBA Academy. Amadou Gallo-Fall also did a lot of things with his nonprofit Seed
in Dakar.
In Dakar, and then, as I mentioned, the Academy, and then you're doing camps all around the continent, and before you know it, you're talking about a league. And then voila, we have that today. So it's just amazing to see that, as you mentioned, just basketball royalty in the building. It's been like that all week, though, with multiple people coming in, just world leaders and otherwise.
Absolutely,
so it's just been an amazing experience to watch.
And just next to Mark Tatum, we had Wes Edens, who's the founder of New Fortress Energy, of course, which is one of the main sponsors of the BAL. And that brings us to Threes for Trees. He's the chairman also of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, and those Threes for Trees have been really cool, because we've talked about it. I know you're excited about the Threes for Trees because of the impact on the continent. With every time a three is made, 3 trees are planted on the continent.
Yeah, but it's also about survival. It's about our planet, I mean, if we all respected our planet, then obviously, we'd be in a much better place. So it's just it's a gesture, it's a return, isn't it? It's like, saying to Mother Nature, look, this is what we're going to do to help out. And that's coming straight from the Basketball Africa League. Great incentives, great idea. And there are lots like it, like we mentioned before. We're still waiting to get the lowdown on Miklawi Mustafa Kaju, of course, who got a small hit to his head. We're going to go across to Usher. Usher, can you give us some information? Tell us what's going on. She might be actually going off to see what's going on with the Zamalek team. So I think that we'll catch up with her. She'll come back with the details. I'm still pretty sure. Lance.
Well, I mean, the NBA has done such a great job, and you see how they are wiping up the floor and taking their time. The NBA postponed the launch of the league 2 times, March and December of 2020. The BAL has gone above and beyond measure to provide a safe environment for all the players, team staff, official, and employees on the campus that they created at the Radisson Blu. It's amazing, as well as Nomo, which was a beautiful place. I got to hang out there with you as well. And the BAL medical team, comprised of top global physicians and medical professions, in concert with the CDC, WHO, and other specialists, have implemented stringent health and safety measures to provide a safe environment to minimize exposure to COVID-19 on campus and in the arena. And you talked about it earlier with how we're even in a bubble within the game. We're separated from the fans. There's distancing. There are no fans immediately behind the players. And so whenever you have a situation like this, you want to make sure that you clean it up, and it is part of the safety protocol
for sure
that the BAL has implemented in this environment.
And you know, we're all taking daily PCR tests, you know, to obviously keep everybody in the same place. I think I'm on something like 22 already. You must be the same, Lance. And, you know, it's not a problem. We're all, you know, trying to fight the same battle. It's not even a battle. We're all trying to protect each other. I think that's probably a better way to word it. We're going to get back to the action, as you can see. But in any case, the organisation around this bubble has been top notch. So, you know, just picking on a couple of those bits of information and addressing the right people to give them the credit that they deserve, as we see the free throw attempt here with just a few seconds remaining, of course, before the end of the half. And it is Salem, sorry, not Salem, it's Hatem, of course, who's trying to drop in the second shot from the free throw line.
And he drops it in for his teammate, Makawe.
5 seconds before the end of the half. Got to get up, got to try and get those points. There's the attempt at three. It comes off the boards there, and we are at the end of the first half of this first semi-final, and you can see that it's pretty impressive what they've actually achieved. Zamalek 55 points, Petro de Luanda 39. They've got a player who's being treated, of course, with a little head injury, but in terms of the basketball that's being played here and the tactics used by Zamalek, I think we can most definitely say that they have the bragging rights after the first two quarters, Lance.
Yeah, a little bit too much one-on-one for me from Petro. I mean, they're trying to create offense and just really struggling with it. And on the other side, Zamalek, their offense obviously is really impressive. But how about the defense? I mean, they've all but locked them up. Only 39 points, have a good lead here going into half. Petro is going to have to get a little fire under their seats. They're in trouble, Robbie.
They're in trouble indeed. 55-39, second half coming up soon. That's the trophy. That is it.
Look at that. It's beautiful.
Welcome back to the Kigali Arena here for the Basketball Africa League 2021. We're here in the semi-finals, and Zamalek currently dominating Petro de Luanda. A little bit lopsided for the time being, 55-39. We're going to just pick the brains of Usher, who's going to give us an update regarding Mustafa Keju, who, of course, the Egyptian player who went down just at the end of the first half. Usher.
Well, yes, Robbie, I've spoken to Leroy Sims, who is the BAL head of medical commission, and he says that the cat was very deep on the head and he will not be back in this game, El-Mekawi Keju.
Well, that's a big blow. Thank you, Usher. That's a great bit of information. Now, how will that affect Zamalek? Of course, with that big lead, they just got 3 points, Petro, to get themselves back in it. A fantastic long-distance effort there from Carlos Moraes. Lance Blanks, the impact of his loss. They've got strength and depth. Will it be easy for them to deal with that, or will that be a psychological blow for the Giants of Cairo?
Well, I don't think it will be easy. El-Mekawi, he is a very important part of what they do. And 2 games ago, he had an ankle injury, didn't play great. Last game was off to a pretty decent start this game. So losing him will have some psychological effect just because he is such an important part of what they do. But they're also a very deep ball club, and they rely on defense. And that's an area where they can always excel because of the amount of personnel they have that can fill in the gaps. And he's not a key component of the defensive side of the court, which is very important for them, Robbie.
Well, they've got Anas Mahmoud, who gets the ball inside of the arc. Still manoeuvring around. That's great defensive play there from Vander, and Dundao picks the ball up. Petro looking to try and strike back as early as the first couple of minutes in this battle. That's a good drive, and he tries to keep the ball away from Anas Mahmoud, but he's so good on the rebound as Hodge goes up the other end.
Well, that's rim protection. Mahmoud gives, and it doesn't always come in the form of an actual block shot. You can alter it as Hodge comes down at breakneck pace and gets to the line. The thing we got to monitor, though, for Zamalek, they just had a turnover. They've got 12 assists, which is pretty good against 10 turnovers. They've got to monitor that and get shots up on each possession on this end of the floor, as Fakwad has his first miss, and then the big fella Mahmoud misses also the runner across the lane, so they're going to get a third attempt. Robbie,
this is unbelievable, but they didn't nail the 3 points there coming from out wide, and it's been picked up. Hodge missing out on those on the triple to push their lead, which would have been 16 points. Not the case though, it's still 13 as we see the layup going. Little tip in, very important. Fell a little bit awkwardly on his ankle, I thought, Johnny Pedro. He seems to be okay though. It wasn't an injury, you can just see that.
It's what he does. You help, and then he saw the tip out. The last possession defensively, well defended over the rim.
Oh, that's great play from Dundao on the ground. Gets the ball out. They've got a player out on the right-hand side, Gonsalves, but the layup, oh, it's just been chucked out, and that's an offensive foul. Mahmoud has just been playing some incredible Guardian of the Galaxy kind of basketball, you know, protecting his turf and doing it in a very fine way.
Yeah, Moraes did what I do sometimes when I'm talking next to a guy like you. He just didn't know where he was going. Just words are coming out, and he did that off the dribble. Didn't know where he's going until that point. They have 5 assists while you laugh against 7 turnovers. Wow. Petro does, as the travel call is made against Muhammad, but I really want to earmark the turnover situation, Robbie. This is a big deal. You can't have a veteran team that's this good playing against a team as good as Zamalek and expect to be in a ball game. And I think the reason they have 5 assists against 7 turnovers and make it 8 turnovers.
Egyptian obelisk just slams it in. It's exceptional scoring there from Anas Mahmoud.
Yeah, that's disrespectful, Mahmoud. I was just trying to finish my comment, and you come in and disrupt the offense and finish in a big way.
Listen, we're partners in crime. We're allowed to step carefully on each other's toes once in a while.
Well, not
with
you.
Respect.
I'm talking about Mahmoud. Not you. He disrupted what I was saying with the turnover. That call was more important than what I was saying, but it wasn't more important than subject matter, which is turnovers, which is how he got the basketball on another turnover. Again, 5 against 8 turnovers. That's just not real good. You just got to be much better than that. And then the nice Euro as Sergio is in the truck. Our producer, he's loving it. Look at the little fake pass against Dundao. Man, we are rocking and rolling here.
It's a big one, isn't it?
Third quarter, yeah, that was a big one.
Here is Dundao, and he's got Van der as a little bit of a assistance there, just to the left side of him. They're trying to get those points. They're trying to scramble back into this 13 points. It's a tally that can come down quite easily if they get things right. But they're not getting things right at the moment, and it's a little bit frustrating for Petro Luanda because we know how great they can be, of course. And they're representing not just a club, but also a country. And they've got lots of competition with Primeiro de Agosto, the other team from Angola, of course, in the club competition. But they're the top team at the moment. They're here at the BAL. And as I said, the whole nation will be watching to see if they can just break down the Zamalek team. But when Hodge is on fire like that, it's very, very complicated.
That was great action. He faked the dribble handoff and cut straight to the basket. Mahmoud is so good at hitting people on the run with the pocket pass. He shares the ball as a big, well executed by Zamalek.
Very tight defensive game here for Zamalek. They've done their homework, haven't they? Johnny Pedro gets the ball out. There's a chance for 3 as the shot clock goes down. It's a miss. Mahmoud collects and chucks it down. Caught, but it comes off the legs of Moraes. They'll get the ball back.
Petro has got to get some momentum going their way. They certainly can't exchange baskets, but right now Zamalek is in such a way where they are dicing them up on the offensive end of the floor. Lots of movement and lots of trust in the teammates as they rack up the assists with 14 thus far in the game.
Ball comes out to Hisham. This man's just come on. Junior Elonu. It's a lovely hook shot, but it doesn't hit the target. Rolls off the metal, and here is Gonçalves. Out to Vander for three, and it comes back out, and the tip-in is unsuccessful. Walter Hodge picking the ball up, and at the other end you can see that Zamalek just calming things down and being very sophisticated in the way that they manage this game.
Well, manage is right. Those are great decisions. They take their time and wait to get a clean look by arguably their best and most important player, as in Hodge. And you saw the hesitation. You talked about game management. Mohamed did a great job of pulling that out as he tries to stay on a much smaller Dundao.
It's 18-point difference here, and Hodge on 19 points. They're 5 assists and 3 out of his 5 3-pointers. He is enjoying himself here, I can tell you that, as Moraes goes for 3, but it's come off the boards and back off. Here's Hodge once again. Oh, the invisible ball.
Yeah, Hussein had an easy finish there, got a little bit of ahead of himself. You know, Robbie, you catch the ball as much with your eyes as you do your hands, and watch him look up. Doesn't look the ball into his hands, and then it looks like it's a slippery ball, but it's not slippery. The hands aren't slippery. You got to stay with it like you do, buddy. You stay with it all the way. You got to teach Hussein to do that, and then he can catch and finish. But right now we're going to take a break. I'm going to talk to you about staying with it. Zamalek up big, 18 points, 62-44 over Petro.
Well, welcome back to the Kigali Arena, of course. Basketball Africa League, 62-44, 4:52 on the clock in the third quarter. Usher is with us, and Usher, can Petro Luanda clamber back? What have they got in their box of tools to try and get themselves something and clamber into this clash once again?
Well, they'll have to dig deep from their very experienced players like Carlos Moraes and Olympia Cipriano, and on court right now, Lionel Paulo, who is the heart and soul of this team. Let's see what they can do in this quarter to salvage and reduce that deficit.
It's such a big quarter, isn't it? 4:38. They really need points now. They need to tighten things up a lot more in defense. They need to really watch out for the big guys, not give them the space. Lance Blanks, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is they can't keep doing what they just did. Turnovers. They've got a turnover bug. They're up almost to double digits with their turnovers, Robbie.
Oh,
and
my.
You give it up, and then Alano misses the layup, which is uncharacteristic of Zamalek in this game. But at worst, you got to get a shot up there. Now up to 10 turnovers, and you turn it over, then you give up a layup by Hussein. I mean, that's just not good basketball, particularly for a veteran ball club like Petro.
Antoine Scott Richards on as well with the Moraes, gets the ball out for Paulo. Paulo fakes, cuts inside, tries to get past Mahmoud. It's never going to happen, is it? He is just a towering strength for Zamalek, and so is this man here, Hodge, getting the 2. And that's a rip-roaring performance here, because he's already entered the 20-point mark, and that is sensational stuff.
Well, he's been excellent. Look, if you're not going to stop me, and that's the first rule of basketball, Robbie, stop the ball. Look at that. No one stopping the ball. It's almost like they were running on a track. The defense is just running next to the guy who's going to score. You've got to get in front of the ball, and then you have to stop it. Zamalek is doing a great job of reading those situations as Mr. Three-Pointer Diabate enters the game, which is another level of danger.
Yeah, I'm just observing all of this and trying to understand what's going on. And normally there's an Angolan proverb that actually say there's not enough room for 2 elephants to sit in the same shade. Now that's a Angolan proverb, of course. So I think that what would normally be the case, where the Angolans would obviously take center stage and get that spot, they've been pushed outside, and it's Zamalek who are actually in the shade, and they're enjoying the limelight. This is a brilliant performance, isn't it?
Yeah, those have to be really baby elephants for them to get some of this space. Those are huge elephants. As Antoine Scott gets the layup, which is a rarity, especially with Mahmoud on the floor.
Solo Diabate with the ball out to Mahmoud. Mahmoud goes for a teasing dance into the perimeter. Once again, gets the ball, the layup unchallenged, but he doesn't hit the target. Paolo goes on a bit of a dance himself, tries to get through traffic. Oh, my word. And you just see exactly what's happening here. If there's not Mahmoud there, they've got, he's got a wingman in Junior. Elonu, look at this.
Wow, that looked like a good block to me. I can't be 100% certain, and I don't know if Serge is going to give me another look. That was a beautiful block as Petro has the zone that they're in. They're going to try to force these guys to take some deep shots.
God, Diabate just slinking around defenders there as he tries to get his mid-range. A little bit of frustration there. Once again, the
Look at
replay.
our guys in the truck. Look at this great camera work. Ooh, that.
Oh.
Does that look? Did it look? It looked good to me. Did it?
It's all in slow-mo.
Glass first. I won't ask for another one, Sergio. I need some more glasses, man.
Oh, well, there you go. It's a top-notch performance, isn't it, from Zamalek?
Yes, it is. But a chance to carve into this lead a little bit. It's a championship club. Not going to go away, but they are going to turn the ball over.
Watch out, Hodge back to Solo Diabate. And you can see that there was a defensive intervention there coming in from that man whose name is Antoine Scott.
Yeah, and Petro de Luanda, they need counseling. They need an intervention because they have turned the ball over. Seems like every other possession, and you just can't have this many turnovers and play against Zamalek in a championship level game to play in a final and expect to have any chance to win, Robbie.
It's true. It's true. Got to get back into this. They've made a couple of changes there. Zamalek, I think, Hatem and the 18-year-old Yasser have come on to.
I mean, just think about it. I mean, this is really not good for Petro as Diabate makes his second free throw. For every assist, they have 2 turnovers.
Yeah, but they had 24 turnovers in their last victory in the quarterfinals, Lance. And when you look at that, that's not good. Whereas Zamalek, they started off with 28 turnovers in their opening game against Maputo. It got better and better and better, and I think they were down to 12 in their quarterfinal. Just something that they've been working on. So okay, you've got like. You know, you're a little bit nervous at the very start. You start to make those little tweaks, the improvements. You're slicker. You make sure that those passes are going direct. You work on it, you know, in the practice courts and in the scrimmages and previously to the start of the competition. You try and work on things like that. So I think that they're in a place where they have managed to sort that out. I'm sorry, but on the other side of the court, it is not the case.
Well, no, and Zamalek also, they're blowing people out and they can rely on their defense. And I don't think that Petro has the level of defense that Zamalek has in terms of getting stops and hanging their hat on that, and or, quite frankly, the type of rim protection. I mean, the type of blocks and protection that you're going to get from the bigs for Zamalek is not the same as what Petro can provide in the back of its defense.
It's damage limitation, which is top priority for Petro in the last 2 minutes of this third quarter. We'll go into the final 10, and Petro really don't want to be down by more than 13. Even that's a big tally in difference. As Mahmoud gets the ball back out to Yasser. Oh, there's a lovely little pass. Look at that. That is sensational teamwork. Finished off by that man, Junior. Elonu.
And big to big. Watch. Mahmoud is so good at playing the next play. What I mean by that is catch and pass right away versus catch and hold and not knowing where people are on the court. He's so good at seeing the entirety of the floor, and it's why he spent time in the NBA and might even spend more time if he continues to play the way he's played in this BAL inaugural season.
No, very, very slick and nimble, you know, players. Richards tries to drop 2 in. Tidied up there by Junior. And passed back out to Hatem. Solo Diabate comes up against Gonçalves. Mahmoud Not much movement just yet, but Solo Diabate is watching for the big men moving into position.
He wants to get a screen.
Yeah, the screen's not good. It's a poach ball picked up here by Paulo, but it does creep over the sideline. It's going to be Zamalek who get possession again. But the fighting spirit is there. It's, you know, maybe some of the more experienced players really need to sort of, you know, show the rest of the team how to do it, because they've seen it, they've been there, they've done it.
Well, and I think Zamalek has done a good job all game long, if you've noticed, Robbie, of not allowing Petro to get any rhythm or create any big, you know what I'm going to say, momentum. Really hasn't been any go Petro's way, and that has caused them to have an uphill battle pretty much all game long.
Oh, is Mahmoud unable to keep the ball in his hands as he tried to get past the defender?
Yeah, and Mahmoud, he is upset at Ahmed Hatem, and he rightfully so, because he wanted him to be in the corner, and it forced him to have to try to create some offense that he couldn't from that far from the basket. He's such a good basketball player, very thoughtful, Robbie.
Well, that's a good tip in. That's fantastic play. They needed that, didn't they? Gonçalves coming to the rescue, of course, after the three-pointer from Paulo was about to go on the wrong side of the rim. Picked up here by Diabate and driving through, trying to get past Gonçalves. A little bit better here for Petro de Luanda, but they've still got work to do. Probably taking advantage of the fact that Hodge is not on court.
Well, that's a good thing, because he is one of their best players. As Alanu takes the long three, can't create anything with just under 4 seconds left on the shot clock.
Oh, that's a wild pass, and it's just it's slack, isn't it?
Yeah, just one of those days. It's turnover after turnover after turnover. That's going to be 13. They're just mounting. As Gonçalves comes in and finishes. You don't put a body on your man, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to crash the boards and get easy finishes around the basket.
18 points separating Zamalek and Petro de Luanda. Of course, we know what's going to be around the corner. Of course, if they win, it will be a place in the final, which takes place tomorrow afternoon here at the Kigali Arena. But still plenty of time. We've got a fourth quarter coming up, of course, and that is a fantastic finish, isn't it? Just get in there and slam it down in a big way. Junior doing the damage and smashing it down. Oh, and a wild attempt from Gonçalves to try and get two at the buzzer. We come to the end of the third quarter, and you can see that 20 points separate these two teams. An uphill battle, an uphill struggle for Petro de Luanda to try and get themselves into this semi-final. It's going to be tough, but nothing is impossible. Zamalek lead by 20. We'll be back for the fourth quarter. It's hot here in Kigali. Well, I think that what's happening here is very much in favor of the Egyptian side here. Zamalek 72, Petro de Luanda 52. We are about to get the fourth quarter going, and Walter Hodge racking up 19 points, but I think it's been a good team performance here so far. 4 players with double figures. Lance Blank's pretty impressive there, to be perfectly honest with you. You can break that down in a second. We're going to go across to Asha, and Asha will give us her thoughts on what's been happening here.
Well,
Asha.
it's very impressive to see how Zamalek have maintained a 20-point lead for the second quarter now. Things are looking good for them. I don't see how Petro can come back in this one. The rotation has been quite disturbing, for to say the least, Robbie.
No, you're absolutely right. That's the kind of shot that they need to hit to get themselves back into contention. That was sublime coming there from the old member of the team, Olimpio Cipriano, who knows his African basketball in a big way. Lance Blanks, what do you think?
Well, I've been talking about it all game long, Robbie. It's the turnovers. And I think when you think about it, in a game like this, you just can't give away the ball that much. And Zalea has given up. The defense has not been great either, obviously, by Petro. And as crazy as this sounds, Robbie, Zamalek has more turnovers, if you can believe it, than Petro.
Well, that doesn't make much sense. Look at that slam. Sorry to cut in there, but that was sensational. That's just an example of what they can actually do, Johnny Pedro.
Yeah, he can, and they have to attach defense to that and taking care of the ball. But we talked about the turnovers a minute ago. The issue and where the discrepancy comes is there are 17 assists for Zamalek as they add to their turnovers, Zamalek does, versus 7 assists by Petro. Haven't seen a lot of that kind of sharing of the ball. Zamalek does it the other way. A lot of one-on-one play by Petro.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit, you know, just try and find that synchronization that you find in the commentary box just on the side of the court, of course, and they'll be able to work their magic. But at the moment, it's being diffused, and so that's better from them, from Paolo. Paolo with a beautiful layup there. And but let's just check on another Zamalek player going down. Junior's down on the ground, holding his nose. Thinks that he's going to be okay, but there was contact, I think, is being checked out by the referee.
Yeah, Junior, him being down on the ground is what allowed Petro to get that basket. Basically, we're playing 4 against 5.
Yeah, 74-59. 15 points, it's a little bit better. See the players who are on court, Diabate, Yasser, Hatem, Fakwari, Elonu. Oh, that's a good pass, isn't it?
Wow.
It's dreamscape basketball from Zamalek, but you've got to finish it off, and this is going to be an easy 2. How about that for a slam there for Gonçalves? And now, look, the scenario looks quite better. 13 points in the first 2 minutes, so they've cut it down by a big tally. I think, they were 20 down coming into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to sustain or maintain a level of concentration. This is a championship caliber organization, meaning Petro. So you talked about it as we opened the game. They're not going to go away. They feel like they are the kings, and probably rightfully so, of Africa. So they're going to play all the way to the finish line, as all of these guys have done in previous games, Robbie. They need some of those kind of easy opportunities here moving forward.
So the stats, assists, you mentioned it. Yep. 18 for Zamalek, 9 for Petro Luanda. So they've been quite, I wouldn't say maybe selfish to a certain extent, because if you're going for the shots yourself, it means that you're not making the passes to find your teammates in good positions and trying to move a defender out of the way. Rebounds pretty similar, of course, 7 more, but that more for Zamalek, but it might be defensive rather than offensive, so they're not getting the points. And the 3-pointers, we haven't seen a downpour of 3-pointers, so unfortunately we won't have millions of trees that will be planted across the continent on this occasion, but we didn't really expect that, because we knew it was going to be a chess game, a mind game between these 2 giants of the continent.
Well, with expectations that you mentioned, you would expect Hodge to come on. And in baseball in America, they have something called a closer. Now, he's a starter, but he'll also play closer here with Zamalek as they try to walk this down to the final buzzer here in the fourth quarter with their fearless leader, Hodge, at the helm, the point guard position.
He's having an absolute blast here in Rwanda, is the Walter Hodge. The shot, not a good one there from Diabate, and you can see there's a little bit of frustration, but they basically got their well, they've got most of their starting 5 on court, of course. As you can see, Yasser's not on, and Salem, but the others, oh yeah, no, Yasser is. So it's pretty much their starting 5. Paolo getting the ball out. Gonçalves cuts inside, tries to drift away and get those points. Johnny Pedro, he gets fouled.
Yeah, and he's just an offensive rebounding machine, as you know. They've just got to chip away at this lead. Possession by possession. With 14 seconds to go on the shot clock.
And there's the shot coming in, but it's an air ball. Not a good effort there as Yasser goes dancing. Oh, my word, Look at that. That is the way to do it. He's 18 years of age, and he's going to have a fantastic career, because when he plays basketball like that, you just know that it's straight out of the top drawer, going through the NBA Academy as they go up again. And they're going really in hard as Diabate links up with Hodge, another two. All of a sudden, they're back to, what, 17 points?
Yeah, and they're incredibly unselfish. And how about the dunk by the young 18-year-old? No one stopped him again. The defense sometimes is just running alongside of people, playing poor defensive principles, especially against a team that's as good as Zamalek.
There's a lot of chit-chat going on between the players, you know, the motivational phrases that are just coming out naturally, but just look at that. That is a massive statement in itself. Well, honestly, you've got to give full credit to the lad. You know, he's on the big stage. He's 18, the youngest guy here, and he can do that. That takes a lot of courage. He looks up and checks out the scoreboard. Yeah, you're doing good, son. Yeah,
and you're also telling the BAL and NBA Africa that this league is in good hands in the future, not only with the veterans, obviously, but young fellas like that are just only going to get better and better.
Well, Hodge just dropping the ball into the paint for Fakwade, and the swipe obviously gives the ball back to Zamalek as they walk to the free throw line and try and hit two. Johnny Petro picking up his fourth. Not good. 6 minutes left on the clock.
No, the challenges mount, and they will continue to mount as we get closer to the end of this fourth period.
First is good. But you know, when we're listening to the coach just before the game, he was saying, look, we've just spent a bit of time together. We've had some fun. We watched a little bit of NBA basketball, you know, just to get a few extra little tips on, you know, how to rattle the backboard. And we had a laugh. We played the PlayStation or whatever, video games, and enjoyed ourselves. And you can see that they gelled so well, and that was a vital, important time for them.
Yeah, that's a great point you bring up. And it really, when you get to this point in the season, a tournament, a Final Four, Robbie, it's really about the camaraderie, the trust that you build. I mean, kind of like our team. You just get better and better. It's bigger than, and I mean that tongue-in-cheek, but I'm also serious in that the confidence that grows with spending time together in these moments are important. I mean,
Absolutely.
They have a strategy. That's no problem. They're going to do what they do. As the turnover happens, and Fakwade not very happy. But you're going to do what you're going to do strategically, but the bonding and the communicating over and over, doing fun things, as you mentioned, watching NBA basketball. And that, by the way, that's good research. Good on you, buddy. Good job. But seriously, those kind of things have a way of carrying over to the court. And you want to be loose as a goose in these moments. And you want to be prepared for all moments, and that can only happen through spending inordinate amounts of time together.
Yeah, and also having a laugh. You know, you got to laugh because that relationship that you actually have off the court, you can bring it on court, and you understand each other. And I think that, you know, we're only humans at the end of the table. We're all exactly the same. You know, more or less. And you know, we bring that fusion onto the court because we've had it off the court, and that is vital. It's a vital way of having the right family situation. Zamalek are a family. You can see that they all work for each other, and they're all there to help each other. It's great to see, and the legacy will continue. And having some of these guys from 1992 when they won the FIBA Africa Basketball Championship, I think obviously helps because they've seen it, they've won it, and now they've seen these youngsters climb up out of the lower echelons of the academy to become, you know, potential champions.
It's a big deal, and also you talked about it. Many people have. You can only have one first.
Mahmoud.
He gets it, saves his whoa, and the foul by Petro.
These guys, you know, they're good mates, aren't they? And this is nice to see. Okay, Johnny Petro just with Solo Diabate. He's fine, but, you know, you're going to make the call. You're going to verbally react to that, aren't you? Come on, man. But he didn't give me the bear hug.
That's exactly right. That's just mutual respect and two guys who are just competing as hard as possible and trying to come away with a victory.
Now, the problem is that that's his 5th foul. It's obrigado for Johnny Petro. Will he get any more game time or not, is the question. Well, 5 minutes and 18 points. Doesn't look good on paper, but we've seen stranger things happen in the world of basketball.
Well, no secret, doesn't look good on court either at this point, because you've got a very focused and good Zamalek team, some veteran ball players, and they're executing well here down the stretch, Robbie.
In a big way, in a big way. Just so that you know, if you're watching this one, there's another one just that's gonna take place a little bit later on. Very big game, of course, because that's Mahmoud trying to come up from down below. Look at the guys going over to see if he's okay. Protect your interest, but more importantly, protect your friends. And it is a big battle, of course. US Monastir of Tunisia, labeled and tagged as the top team to beat, the favorites to go all the way and win that extraordinary trophy that we'll get to see in the next couple of days. Come up against Patriots, the local boys. Take a small break. Zamalek up by 18 against Petro de Luanda. That is what you're going to win. That is the trophy. That is the cup that you will lift. It's beautifully created, isn't it? Just like the baobab tree, of course, which is, one of the most emblematic trees that you'll find on the continent. A lot of them found in Madagascar, but extraordinary, wonderful trophy there. That's up for grabs. Talking about up for grabs, information. Usher, would you like to give us a little thoughts on a little battle that will take place here in the second semi-final?
Well, obviously, the Patriots of Rwanda will be looking to make history in that one, facing a giant in US Monastir, like you say, tagged as the title favorites, and especially when we see the results of this game after the next 4 minutes.
Thank you, Usher. And yeah, it's exactly that, isn't it? It's the home advantage really will play an integral part. That's a fantastic score. He's been so good, you know, when he's just lofting the ball up in the air there, Carlos Moraes. Brilliant player, but a little bit too late to really make a difference, I think.
Oh, yeah, they actually sit back, too, in a zone and work to their favor in that possession, but I would think, Robbie, playing a zone, you're not going to apply enough pressure to close the gap. You're just essentially working against the clock. It's your biggest enemy right now, even more so the Zamalek if you're Petro.
Look at the defensive play there from the youngster Yasser. He is just outrageously good, isn't he? Putting the pressure on Gonsalves and then going in for the drive and scoring the 2 points. That is just awesome. He's done it before and he'll do it again. Moraes picks the ball up downtown for Petro de Luanda.
And great observation, because he was on cue.
A little bit of lady luck in the com box, doesn't it?
Got put a lot of energy into his defense.
Here he is out wide. That man, Olimpio Cipriano, missing the target. Hodge picks it up. Just using the clock, of course. Now they'll be looking up and just seeing how much time, using the maximum amount of time, unless there's a free score, of course. And they've done it so well, Zamalek. Giants of Africa. Oh, that was brilliant play. He was a little bit off balance as well, wasn't he, Mahmoud? Otherwise, it would have been a little bit more spectacular.
Yeah, we've seen that type of action all BAL long. This is designed, didn't even really set the screen, comes up like he's going to do it, and then runs right around Bander and finishes over top of him. These bigs, you can't get caught in no man's land. If you're guarding the ball or if you're back, you need to either be attached, especially to a guy like Mahmoud, and if you're guarding the guard, get up on him. Don't give him that much space, especially Hodge. If you do, you're going to end up on a BAL poster with Mahmoud dunking over top of you.
Yeah, it's not the ideal way to promote yourself, you know, a lucrative contract wherever you want to go.
No, not good. No, then just like and you're good. You're thinking about contracts. You're thinking about guys' career. You're thinking holistically. You're not just thinking about what's happening on the court, and I like that because you're thinking about the guy's family. No, that's not a good look if you're on a poster with Mahmoud slamming it down your throat. You like that, don't you?
Yeah, with your socks not pulled up properly, you know, just thinking a little bit. Yeah, yeah, you want the shabby look.
You know, I love your imagination too. Like what, you know, you do a really good job of connecting the wilderness to what we're talking about. What do the socks have to do with the picture of the dunk? I'm just curious. It's a great point.
It's a photograph, okay, so it's there for a long time. If your socks are not pulled up properly, then it obviously leaves a bad legacy of how you actually look. This is the falling backwards. We didn't realize from the angle that we saw from the replay just how much he was like off balance. Remarkable. Dundao is back on. Vander into the middle. Socks reference is very important, Lance.
Well, I missed all balance. I was looking at Vander's socks. Gonzalez makes the nice layup there.
It's all right. They're all good. They're all looking pretty good. The socks are in a good place on most of the players on court at the moment, you know.
Buddy, I got socks in my head right now. Got to get Hodge in my head as he comes across the screen and hits his favorite target, Mahmoud. He fakes the handoff and the nice runner with a little softy-dofty touch. That was softer than a baby's bottom rolling around on top of that rim.
I think, oh, brilliant. Lads, it's just brilliant. And you are painting the right picture. The landscape, I mean, you know, and the portraits are just stunning. Look at that. And so is that from Moraes. He really did need to produce that three-pointer. The triple goes in, 85-69. I would normally say rock on, game on, but it's the end of the clock. When I look up, the clock is not looking that good, is it?
No, it doesn't look that good at all. Game is on, does look good.
They're smiling now. You know, Lance, when they start smiling and they're like sort of, you know, looking across, I think that they know that they're in a pretty good place, right?
Yeah, they do. And I'm just not going to talk over that dunk, man. Did you see those two outstretched hands go? I know Serge is holding that one. We got to see that again.
Moraes unable to get that three-pointer. And now I'm also looking at the defender underneath these giants who are scoring these extraordinary shots, just to see if their socks are actually badly positioned or not. Sorry, getting caught up and derailing my mind.
No, you're not. You're just thinking poster is what you're thinking. You want the socks up in the poster, don't you?
See, that's really good. I do want the socks in a good place in the poster. Very good drive there from Dundao.
Look at this.
Here it is.
This is called throwing into traffic, but it doesn't matter. But you see Vander comes unattached. He's unattached. And the help is late. That's too easy with that young man there being on the receiving end of a pass, meaning Mahmoud. He's going to get a well-deserved break.
Yeah, look at this. They know they're in a very good place, don't they, Lance?
Yes, they do. And a little bit of a celebration as Dundao makes first of two free throws.
So, you know, when you've got a bit of bandage around there, you know, it obviously means that it's a serious injury that he's picked up. But he's okay. You know, that's the main thing. He's actually on the bench there. Whether or not he'll play the final, I mean, you know, if it's a deep gash, of course, it's really not going to be feasible, is it?
Yeah, I'd be very surprised. You need a miracle to play, but he had a great BAL, and he's going to watch his teammates fight as they go into the final with the miss by Muhammad, and they get it back, surveys, and down to the big fella underneath, and Quade finishes with the layup.
Do you know Sullivan for Rivers? You know, when he turned on his ankle and it just swelled up so much. It was bulbous. It was enormous. And then he was playing the next day after, 2 days later. You know, miraculous things have happened. So anyway, he'll be part of this Zamalek team right until the very end. Whether or not he'll be on court or not, I don't know. But he'll play an integral part in this family affair because it's working well for them. 31 seconds to go, 89-71, and it is a done deal. We can say it now. But Petro, well, they've tried, but they have found it very, very complicated. Talk about turnovers, but it's also about the assists of Zamalek and the teamwork between each other. We're running down the clock. You can see this, and Hisham is here bouncing the ball. They already know that it's a done deal. The applause is coming in and appreciation between coaches, which is good. But the Spaniard, the Catalan coach, Ulbi, has done an exceptional job bringing together this group of players. Zamalek are into the final of the inaugural Basketball Africa League, and they thoroughly deserve it. The final score here at the Kigali Arena, 89 points to 71, beating Petro de Luanda of Angola. Lance, it's they deserved it. They really did deserve it at the end of the day.
Well, their defense was beautiful. I mean, they executed extremely well, obviously on the offensive end, but there was just turnover after turnover for Petro. And then also, I thought that Petro just got caught up into a little bit too much one-on-one. They didn't trust as much as Zamalek did on the other side. But these are two great organizations. Obviously, you hate to see a loser in this situation, but it's well-deserved by Zamalek. Petro can be proud and have something to work on for next year. But we've got 50% of the work done because we got Zamalek going to the final.
We do indeed, and we'll be able to just ask a couple of questions to the MVP of the day, hopefully. And I think that might be that man, Walter Hodge, I believe, once again, who has been inspirational. He's just strolling over towards the to the headset with the cameraman, and we'll be able to ask him how he feels, which is wonderful. And he's just getting everything set up. But we've been privileged to a remarkable performance here from Zamalek. Got everything right. They worked really, really well together, and I think that unity has really helped them. And we're just waiting for Walter. Hola, Walter, ¿cómo estás?
Saludo, hermano, ¿cómo estás?
Congratulations once again. This Zamalek team, just tell us once again how you work as a unit, how you work as a family, how you are friends off court, on court. You can see that this synergy is just top level, and you're enjoying yourselves here.
Hey, man, we came in a mission, so we came here to win the tournament. I know we're facing tomorrow probably a strong team, so we just want to, give us a chance to be in the championship game. And I think the guys did a great job. We play Petro. They really good team, and we knew we have to be focused from the beginning.
You've got a double-double, but 5 players have made doubles in the points department. That underlines something for me. That basically means, Walter, that you've got a bench, one, you've got cover, you can take a breather, you can come back on, and you can still rely on everybody. How important, and what words have come from Coach, Julbi, to actually make this function so well?
I think, the guys know how to play basketball. We make it easy for Coach if we be unselfish. Every time we play unselfish, we move the ball. Everybody will take the best shot available. So I think we did that in the first half, in the second half, and that's why we got that lead.
Just one quick question before I pass you over to Lance Blanks. How important, you've won some championship titles, of course, NCAA. How important would it be, and where would you place the Basketball Africa League being a trophy that you win?
I mean, it's amazing. It's the first time the tournament will be, so I want to be the first champion in the tournament. So for me, it's big. It's like winning an NCAA tournament.
Hey, Walter, a moment ago you talked about, this is Lance Blanks, by the way, you talked about the ball being shared, and with 2-point shots, you're averaging about 49% from the floor. Today, you were right on target with that inside the arc at 50%, hot in fuego, however you want to say it, buddy. Why are you so comfortable inside the arc, and how can you sustain that level of consistency as a pro?
Man, since I was 8 years old, that was my game, so I think I did a great job just working out on my finishes, and I think, I'm very comfortable with this. So, I gave whatever the defense gave me, and they was making me drive.
Okay, so you likely won't have a key member of your team, El Makawe, unfortunately, with the injury situation. Now, speak to me about what you think it'll take for you all, because you have unique circumstances as you approach the winner of the next game for this final tomorrow.
I mean, we just have to stay focused, you know, just go back to the hotel, just get the game plan and just focus on the game. I think any team that we play, if we rebound and we play defense, we will be okay.
Okay, buddy. Well, you go enjoy it with your team, man, and appreciate you taking the time, and congratulations on this great success you've had thus far.
Thank you very much, guys.
Gracias, Walter. Hasta luego. Just brilliant, just brilliant. Let's just have a look at some of the stats there. We once have to go again to the assists, I think. Lance, 25-11. Zamalek, they play as brothers on the court, and you can see that is essential for them in their campaign and their quest for the best.
Yeah, and I mean, the other part of the story that's not on there, Petro had 17 turnovers against 11 assists, and I don't think anywhere in the world can you turn the ball over that much relative to assists and think you're going to have a chance. Speaking of having a chance, man, it's by chance I'm here with you, and I'm loving every minute of it. The BAL is going to have a champion crown tomorrow, and we're going to find out who all is in it. Hey, man, take us home as we look at this beautiful trophy that I'd like to put my hands on just to touch, man. Is that thing gold?
It's been polished, so don't put your hands anywhere near that for the time being, unless you can celebrate with the winners, okay? Just take it easy.
Be nice.
Yeah, of course. First of all, I think we need to talk about the Kings of Egypt and sort of, you know, the amazing campaign that they've actually produced. Trying to break down and decipher their players like trying to decipher hieroglyphics. I mean, it is very complicated. Those guys are so detailed. They've got an incredible history, and they put themselves in a very, very solid position. No one can diffuse the live wire, Walter Hodge, okay? You add the extra ingredients into the pile, you've got something that I'm afraid will just turn everybody around like a Tasmanian devil. It's not an easy situation. I'm just going to say thank you. I'm going to say thank you to you, Lance Blanks, for being my partner in crime, and the third partner in crime, Usher, of course. Thanks very much for your intel. From us, we're going to be back pretty soon because we've got another one to go. We're going for a little clash between the Giants of Tunisia, US Monastir, and the Patriots of Rwanda, the home side. This roof is going to be lifted. Don't miss it, guys. We'll see you then.